What's good? Devin Hendricks here, switching things up a bit, playing Mushroom Wars instead of Minecraft. So far, I've only posted Minecraft for video game content, but one of my other favorite games of all time is Starcraft. And this game here is the closest thing I have to Starcraft right now. It's also an RTS game where you are essentially playing as a general commanding armies with strategy and tactics. I've recently been watching StarCraft and listening to a guy casting those and commentating, and that's been pretty entertaining, so I was inspired to try to do that with this game. I've never been a big fan of mobile games, but this game is pretty legitimate as far as like strategy and tactics, and it's free, even though they do push microtransactions, but the game is free, so fair enough. Um, you can still level up and like rank up even if you don't pay. I think I've only paid like maybe $20 altogether for like a bunch of small little things. And I've gotten all the way up to Diamond League, and that is the fifth league, one below Pro League. So I'm like pretty decent. Um, yeah, I feel like they do a pretty good job balancing the matchmaking in spite of the pay to win aspect. So it's not really pay to win, but that's how some people would describe it, I guess. Uh, I've definitely matched up against people who like were out of their league, bought in too high, basically, which is good, yeah. So yeah, all that being said, let's get into it here. There's four tribes in this game, reminiscent of the races in Starcraft. Zerg, Terran, and Protoss, that is. The first tribe is Shrooms, and they're kind of like the classic skin, kind of like the basic weapons and like overall balanced kind of medieval feel to them. Then you got the Grims, and in the first game, I believe there were only two. I believe there were only two tribes to choose from, and the other was the Grims. That's represented by Payhome here. He's the first one you unlock, and yeah, their theming is kind of like poison and like sabotage and like yeah, they're probably my favorite overall. Um, then we got the new additions in Mushroom Wars 2. First one being the Shimori, represented by Stella here. And they're all girls, and they're all like really connected to nature. And that includes like ice and wind and insects. And yeah, they're pretty cool. I really use them a lot. And then the final tribe is the Proteus. It's almost Protoss, but yeah, cheeky little nod to StarCraft. I feel like represented by Kree here, and they're all about like alien energy and technology. They're kind of yeah, they are aliens, and yeah, I'll get into the mechanics and stuff when we actually start playing the game here. Yeah, this is just the main menu basically. You've seen me scrolling through these characters here. These are all heroes, and each tribe has unique heroes in them that have their own themings and their own powers that can be used in battle. And this elevates the strategy and tactical aspects of the game significantly. I'll talk about them specifically as they come up in the gameplay. Although I will say some of my favorites are this guy, Moro, Moruo, I don't know, Moro, I'll just say Moro, yeah. He's one of my favorites. He's got his signature move is like throwing a giant cauldron down on a building and canceling it out. One of the new additions is one of my favorites, Scar. This guy has some OP moves. The classic Rudo is like one of my favorites. He's the first, but he's very OP as well. That goes for Stella too. Those are probably my four favorites altogether. Yeah, Stella is very good. Has a her first move makes your production go way up. Anyway, I'll be commentating on games that I've already played for now. In the future, I'll potentially do real-time commentary as I play, and I would like to stream it too. So yeah, let's get into it. Alright, this first game is me using Scar up against Anch. This first game I'm just going to talk about the basic mechanics to start off. So you start off with a village, essentially, which increases your population and thus your units for your army. There's 3 basic structures in the game. You got the villages, the towers, which I'm walking by right now and getting shot from. So those are used for defense. And then you have the forge, which I just took on the bottom there. And that makes your units stronger. So less units to take over other villages and less units to defend as well. So here's one of Scar's powers being used, the energy beam. Pretty sick, it kills anything that walks across it, any of your enemy's units anyway. That basically covers the structures. There are some map-specific structures as well, like King of the Hill or Conqueror things. Yeah, another mechanic to mention would be the morale, which is the 2 stars that we each have at the top there. Morale goes up when you upgrade your villages or upgrade towers, or when you take over or defend. Any successful takeover or defend, essentially. And so yeah, that covers the basics, and now we'll get into commentary of the game here. You can see me throwing down another energy beam. That one was kind of useless though, and you'll see that he takes advantage of that, or he waited for it and is tactically now sending some reinforcements out. And you can't see your enemy's unit counts, so I didn't know he was fully stacked in there. He had 100 units in there, and then he also went ahead and used his signature move, which, or not a signature move, but one of his powers, which makes your structure invulnerable to attack for a limited time, in exchange for like a drain of the units, basically. Anyway, I'm going all in here. I threw down another beam for defense. You can see it coming into action on that building that he attempted to defend there. I still didn't take it. And then he takes the forge. Yeah, bitter battle trying to hold the forge, going back and forth. And now he's coming in trying to take my upper village as well. I managed to defend that and raise my morale slightly, but he still holds the forge until right there. I believe he takes it back again at some point, but yeah, very much of a struggle here holding on to those central villages. He's continually taking them back from me. And there's Ank's signature move, the Plague. So that just drains your enemy's units in a building until they're all dead. And it spreads too, so you saw I left that forge, but it still carried over to the village. Yep, using that invulnerability spell again. And yeah, I'm just barely clinging on here on those central villages. And he's going in again, trying to take that one. I barely hold on to it. And now he's coming in for a major attack. I used my signature move to take one of his villages. I kind of wasted though, trying to take another one. Got a little greedy. And yeah, he came in and busted my center villages and the forge again. So yeah, now I'm on pure defense here, trying to cling on. You can see his unit count is slightly higher than mine. This whole time though, he's held onto the tower, and I haven't been like keeping track of how many units are in that tower. So right now there's 0 in there, but you don't know that while you're playing. Yeah, so at this point it's looking pretty rough. He froze some of my guys with his extra spell, but I managed to get out with one of Scar's spells there. Let's put some guys in stasis until like more of your guys go over them, essentially. I try to take that forage. He's got way too many units in there. Now I'm just trying to defend again. I do manage to cling on there with my beam. My energy beam helped out substantially on that one. And yeah, it's just a real back and forth, pretty evenly matched on morale and units for most of this game. And I'm struggling to retake that bottom center area the entire time. Right here I do take the forge, I believe. Yep, there we go. And then I saw that he emptied the tower, so I took that. And that was a major blow, taking over that tower, because now I can reinforce. I strike down his attack with one of those beams, and he's just like, okay, you can have it. Yeah, so that's game one. This video has gone under the pretense that this is your introduction to the game, so from here on out, it's mainly just commentary. Of course, I'll explain like certain powers and heroes as I go along, but yeah, GG. Alright, game 2 here is me as Scar again, going up against Banshee, Oder, and Payhome. I'm red again as well, and you can see green is going offensive, and I tried to do a trade right off the rip. So we basically did a base trade, and then I spread out a little bit better, and I'm defending that position, so my morale's going up, and I have more units at this point. Banshee is a new character they added recently. I don't know what her powers do exactly, but here we are. I go ahead and take her out. Blue and orange are over there duking it out. Blue goes ahead and takes that village, though, while orange holds the King of the Hill towers. Those towers are one of the mechanics of the game where you hold them and a countdown will start. So whoever holds those towers lowers their count, and whoever gets to 0 first wins. So whoever holds that position longest wins, essentially. Blue's spreading out over there and upgrading villages hardcore. I'm starting to spread out as well. And then orange decides to go and try to take a third King of the Hill position. Big mistake. Leaves them open to attack on both of those top towers. Blue takes advantage of this and takes one of them as well. So now my count and Blue's count are starting to go down. I go ahead and take a second one there because I know that orange is, on their way out. They're running out of units. They have no more villages, so they're not really producing much. King of the Hill towers do produce some, but yeah, not enough to stay alive in this situation. I'm starting to upgrade a little more vigorously here and reinforcing my King of the Hill positions with a few more units there. And then Blue goes ahead and goes in for the kill. Orange is going to go ahead and surrender here. And now we see it's somewhat even, although Blue is ahead by units by about 100 and has those two offensive towers. Going in for an attack here, I managed to take one of the King of the Hill towers. So now my count is going down faster temporarily. And he's not going to let that stand, though. He goes ahead and swiftly takes that tower back. I use Scar's signature move to try to do a counterattack in the side there. Didn't really work out. Basically makes clones of his units and turns them into mine. Sends them the opposite way. And then I go up and take this third offensive tower of the map. While I'm doing that, though, he goes ahead and takes my other King of the Hill position. And that's bad because if his count goes lower than mine, then I'm in a real rough spot. So I go ahead and try to take that back. And I managed to get that, but meanwhile, he's taking 3 more of my villages. So it's looking pretty dire here. I only have 200 units compared to his 550 with 5 stars of morale. But I think at this point I realize he has forgotten this is a King of the Hill match. And so as long as I hold these 2 King of the Hill positions, my count will go down at the same rate and before his. And so he thinks he's got this in the bag right now. He's like reinforcing positions and upgrading all of his buildings. And if he would just attack, he would have won. But as you can see, my countdown is about to run out here. And that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. GG. Alright, one more match for this episode. This time I'm playing as Trini, and we're going up against Moro, two of my favorite characters. He makes an interesting choice here right off the rip. He goes for the Forge. So, you know, that's valid, makes your guys stronger. I go for the 2 villages first, and then the Forge. And I actually misclicked a little bit and started going for that 15 village before I should have. And I did the same thing on the 30. You can see I was short units, but I decided to commit, and at this point I'm going all in. I have to be super aggressive and try to reinforce down there before he decides to attack. And yeah, I freeze his units there, pretty OP. One of Trini's best moves. And yeah, I keep reinforcing that position so that I will hold it. And I managed to do so. At this point, I've got a pretty substantial unit lead, and my morale, actually his morale is higher, huh? But you can see he throws down a cauldron on my main village there, one of my biggest producers anyway, so now he's going in with full force on that bottom village, and just barely takes it. I'll take it back real quick. Does a little damage with his move, and since that failed, he goes ahead and GG's. Quick little bonus match at the end here. If you made it this far, like, share, subscribe, comment, do all these things that YouTube wants. Help me to help you help the algorithm. You know what I'm saying? If this is a brand new game to you, I highly recommend it. This is one of my favorite games. I've been playing it for a few years now. And this is my ID and my current stats of this season. Feel free to add me and we can battle on here, and I could use like a weaker guy if you want, if you're just starting off, or we could team up even too, which is always fun. Yeah. Alright, little bonus. This one's only 18 seconds. It's crazy. Like, I've had 15-minute games on here, and I've had like 18-second games. Some maps, if you make the right move at the right time, it just ends real quick. So this is one of those maps, and this guy made the wrong move. So if you are new to this game, don't do what this guy does. I'm going to go ahead and shoot for the 2 lowest population villages, split my units so that they're more densely packed. This guy just goes straight for the tower. Not only is that half of your total units, but you're also losing units to fire as well, like as you're approaching. So yeah, I throw out a little Trini emote, giving him a thumbs up, and you should give me a thumbs up. Alright. GG. Have a good one.